Welcome to Kenect The Dots, a podcast where we unlock the stories that connect each and every one of us. Hosted by me, Zach Day, in partnership with Kenect Nashville. How do you connect? How do you connect? Hi, everybody. It's another week and another podcast episode for all of you out there. Thanks again for joining me. My name is Zach Day, and I'm coming to you live all the way from Kenect Phoenix in Phoenix, Arizona. With me today, I have one of my dearest, darlingest friends, and I was supposed to have a podcast episode with a couple other people, but it didn't work out scheduling-wise or whatever the case may be. But my friend was like, hey, I'll do it. And I was like, thank you. So I've got
Don't
my friend,
thank me yet.
I've got my friend Zan Fiskum here. Hi, Zan.
Hi.
Thank you for doing this.
Of course.
So welcome to Phoenix. I mean,
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
yeah, it's this morning. Me and Zan and my friend Maddie, we went and got breakfast at Matt's Big Breakfast. It was delicious, and then we walked around. We tried to scooter, but all the scooters were messed up. So couldn't do that.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a cluster, but that's okay.
But we got back in one piece. It's so hot. That's one thing I've said on every single episode of this podcast since I've been here is just how hot it is. It's like kind of miserable, but it's cooling down a lot. So thankfully, it's going to just continue to cool down as the summer ends and wraps up here. It's September now. So thank God for that. We're going to go to Sedona later today.
Sedona.
Oh, Sedona. Shout out Thunderstorm. That's our friend's song. But yeah, and you've never been to Sedona, right?
No, never been. The only 2 times I've been to Arizona was like quick stops. I like flew in once and like my flight got canceled and they put me up in a hotel and I was like, oh, look at Arizona for like an hour of daylight. And then one other time when I played a show here and I thought I was in an oven. It was a really weird venue. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like underneath a church. And it was like a beautiful church, but then the venue was one of the grossest places I've ever been.
No way. I mean, that's cool. It's kind of punk rock.
It was kind of fun. I remember there being just like a pair of pants in the middle of the floor when we walked in to like load everything in. But that was like my first experience with the Arizona heat because the door opened from our rental car. And I remember just feeling like this is literally what it would be like to be inside of an oven.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I just felt that last week because I was in LA and it was a heat wave there. And it was like Arizona type of heat. It was like 120 or something, 115. And I was staying at a friend's place and they didn't have AC, central air. And a lot of these places in California, especially LA, like don't have central air conditioning. And someone told me that that's because like back in the day, you know, California and LA specifically was known for just like perfect weather. So they didn't have central air conditioning in any of these like older apartments. They just have like window units or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, I was staying at a friend's place the other day, big apartment, but no central air. So I was like in the bedroom where I was sleeping and I had the window unit on. It was nice and cool in there. And I opened the door to go outside the next morning. And it was like you're slapped in the face with it. It's like, boom.
It's unbelievable.
I was like, whoa, this is criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so screw that. I do not like that. I'm like, no, get some central air in here. This is against the law in my mind. I don't know if it actually is, but jail. That should be jailed. So the reason I got Zan like on the podcast, I was like, you know what, this could work because, you know, if y'all listen to this podcast, you probably know a little bit about me because I was on The Voice a few years ago. That's what kind of got me connected here with everybody at Kenect and got me to kind of have all these amazing opportunities. I mean, honestly, for me, it was an awesome experience because now I'm getting to like live my dream. I'm not saying The Voice is the reason I'm doing that, but you know, I got some followers from it. I got some national TV exposure. And so like, I think that probably played a big part in some of these opportunities that I have now, including being here. So, Zan was on The Voice with me that same season. So
That's how we became friends.
That's how we became friends. And now it's been years ago. I was in your wedding. It's just like,
no, that was so special. Oh my gosh.
It was so fun and such a beautiful experience. It's just kind of crazy to think back on that. But yeah.
Well, and you were in my bridal party, and then one of our other friends from The Voice sang at the wedding. So it was just special all around.
It's just a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
And the type of people that you meet during that experience, it can either be people that you're going to be with forever and stick with, or people that you may never hear from again.
Like,
you know?
I hope we never cross paths again, but I wish you the best.
Yeah, it's kind of like that for some, maybe. But yeah, and then so Zan was just like, I'm going to be in Arizona. Can I come hang out? And I'm like, yeah, come hang out with me. I'm at Kenect Phoenix. And the thing about Zan, too, that's interesting is that she's gotten to see Kenect Nashville and now Kenect Phoenix. So she's gotten to kind of like dip her toe into the communities here. And so I don't know, it's kind of an interesting perspective as someone who's just come to visit me, but gotten to see like, you know, all of the different things that Kenect has to offer.
I know. I'm like, what is this beautiful building with all of these like hangout areas and pools and free coffee and beautiful apartments with all these amazing views? It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I've only visited for brief moments, but it's been kind of fun.
Yeah. And I'm going to maybe try to get them to book you to come sing here or something.
Yes.
Because I think that'd be really fun.
That'd be so fun.
I think it'd be cool to have like me and you both play like, you know, just a 30-minute set or something at the pool and then, yeah, just live and enjoy life.
And then jump in.
And then jump in. Wee! Yeah, so perfect opportunity. So again, thank you so much for doing this, and perfect opportunity for me to get you on the podcast. And let's just talk a little bit. So, yeah, we met on The Voice, and I don't know if I've ever really talked too much to you about that because it is kind of a weird topic, and it can be, I don't know, it can be triggering for some people who did the show because it's kind of, it's definitely weird, right? Like, I don't know.
It's unique.
It's unique.
Yeah.
And it's different to everybody, unique to everyone's experience, you know? So true. I would like to know a little bit, if you don't mind sharing, kind of your journey on that. Did you go, I mean, I don't know how much we can say, but like
we can say whatever.
It's good
I think
now,
it's
right?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, did you go to like an open call, or how was that for you? Like that initial audition?
It was such a random, like on a whim kind of a moment. 'Cause if you were to summarize the super long story, I had been in music, like in bands for a while and stuff. And I had been writing music ever since I was young. But anyways, I went to a Len and Stella concert. Have you ever heard her? She's so good.
Yeah, I love her.
And I was with my friend Chelsea, and I was just like watching this person perform like, I so badly want to be you. And
when was this? Like when you were like a lot younger, or was this like...
No, this was like the same year that I auditioned. So I'm at this like concert, and Chelsea like turns to me. She's like, you realize you could totally do this, right? And for some reason it was like all just like a person believing me was like all it took. So I literally that night I was like, I'm going to go full time with music. I'm going to quit my job.
Wow.
And so
I kind of always thought you had always just done music. Like, I didn't know that you had that moment. Like, because to me, I mean, I knew you always were singing and stuff and in bands and stuff, right? But
I was like performing at like coffee shops and, you know, in bands and writing with people. And I had put out some music, but it was always like, this could never be like a career for me. Like, I'm not special enough, or like it's too hard. And just like, kind of that voice of like encouragement was like, oh, like I want to, so why not do it? And so I literally just like, I think it was like a week or two later, I Googled The Voice, and I was like, oh, you can submit like online. Yeah. You can audition online. Yeah. So I sent them a YouTube video, like that's just probably never going to go anywhere. And then, 10 months later, song? It was an original song called Lean In.
Nice.
Just singing it in my parents' living room and with a big old flowy dress and stuff.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And then, 2 months later, you're in front of all the celebrity coaches.
I know. So it's like kind of a funny way to like kickstart your career, like on TV, basically.
No, that's so interesting. That's the thing is like, I had no idea that was kind of like when you decided to do music full time and then you did The Voice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like it's kind of different for me because they found me on Instagram. And I don't know if I told you that, but like, they sent me a message on Instagram and they still do to this day, which is weird. Do they send you messages too?
Yeah, I get emails and I'm like, I don't think you want me back. I don't know.
I've already done it. No, I literally responded once and was like, I was on season 18, so y'all got me messed up. They're like, oh, sorry. It's like, that's interesting. But they found me on Instagram and I had a good friend that did it the year before and got like really far. And I was just like, okay, like, well, and I had been singing and doing like, but I was in college and taking classes and doing background vocals and all this other stuff. And then eventually, I knew I wanted to do music and I had like recorded some music and stuff like that too. But just like, I don't know. I always knew I was a star, but I was just kind of like, yes, I got to get through school first kind of vibes. But then when they contacted me, I was just like, okay, like, like the worst thing that could happen is, no, I'm not going to get it. Mm-hmm. But the best thing that could happen is I get to work with some really cool people and whatever, live my dream, at least for a little bit, and then, and possibly win. I was thinking that's the best thing that could happen. But I don't know if you want to win.
I feel like that's not the best thing to happen.
No, I know. Yeah. Now, no. But at the time I was like, oh, I'm going to win. Period. Like, it's fine. I knew I was going to win.
Watch me crush this.
No, exactly. The confidence.
I remember I was so embarrassed because like I was not trying to give off this vibe, but I was like chilling in the lobby and I had my sunglasses on one of the days and I was so tired and I think over just all these things that were happening. I don't remember who it was, but they walked up and they were like, you're just giving off a vibe like you're really good.
Someone said that to you?
Yeah, and I was like, I'm sorry.
That's weird.
I feel awkward now.
Okay. People are very bold.
They are
so
bold.
Let's talk about like when you heard back, were you like, oh my God, like so excited? Or were you like nervous? Or how did you feel about it in that moment?
Oh man, it's been so long. I think I was extremely excited and also extremely shocked. And I thought it was possibly a scam. I'm like, are you sure? Wow. You want me? But yeah, no, I was super excited. And then I went to it was like, the second audition was in Portland, Oregon.
It was just you and the casting director, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, it's so confusing because they don't tell you like, good job. They're like, okay, now you're going to go to this next room. And I'm like, I think this is good because I saw some people like leave crying.
Oh, wow.
So like, if you get sent to another room and then you're in this other room and they're asking you interview questions and then they are like, okay, bye. You're like,
right. And you're like,
did I do well?
Yeah.
Do you like me?
They're just like, stay tuned.
Yeah.
And then it's just like you're in limbo.
So I think that's the reality. They're like really casting a show. Like I've just known so many, one thing I like about The Voice is I think genuinely like everybody on there is like amazing singers.
Yeah.
But like, which I feel weird saying about that about myself. I was thinking of all the other people. No, you're an amazing singer.
You are an amazing singer.
But they're also casting a show. Like they're looking for personalities that they want. And there's so many people I've met that have like never made it. And I'm like, you're incredible. Like there might have just been like 2 of you that season and they picked 1,
100%. And like, I think that's something that you kind of have to just learn from going through the experience because like you can kind of take it personally or like, I remember like, I mean, I had tried out before. Had you tried out before or was that your first time?
No, it was my first one.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. I did it once when I was like 18 or 19 and got to like that same round, I think. And they told me like, I didn't have enough confidence as a singer or something like that.
That's crushing.
And I was like 18 and I really, I wasn't fully, confident yet or aware of myself.
Yeah.
And even when I did The Voice, I wasn't really yet either.
Same.
As far as like my artistry.
I don't know what I'm doing.
But that's funny that you say that because to me, you came across as someone who already had like a really identifiable look and sound, and it
Thank
seemed
you.
very
That's nice.
streamlined. So
Well,
that was
thanks.
good. Do you know
Thank
to me? And I looked up to you and a couple other people. I was just like, yeah, you guys are really good, and you have the potential to win. So yeah, I thought you were gonna win too. I mean, I thought I was gonna win, and then I thought it was me or you. That's what I thought. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah,
It's us. I was like, I have no idea what to expect because I feel like every year somebody wins that like I genuinely think everybody who was on was like an amazing singer, but every year somebody like who wins is not necessarily to me like the best singer on the show. It's just, so I was like, I don't know.
But it's subjective. That's the whole thing about it too. Is like, you might think I'm the most amazing singer. You might think I'm an awful singer. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, but it's all subjective. That's why shows like that.
I did think Thunderstorm was going to win.
Oh yeah,
but
he's good.
You know, and he seemed like the fan favorite to me.
Yeah,
but then I was like, oh
he
shoot, he got like, he didn't even get second. He got like third or fourth.
Yeah.
But there you go.
I mean, you just never know.
None of America voted for me. That's when that's when it started getting rocky. So I was like, oh boy.
That's crazy. Yeah. When you were so during all this process, like, yeah, that's when I got to meet Zan. Eventually, we both wound up in LA in Burbank and just hanging out there. And it's such a weird experience because you're in this hotel for like a long time, like weeks, and just kind of like sizing up your competition, looking around. And it's just like, it's not really like that, but it kind of is because it's a pressure cooker and you're in the same space with these people that you're competing against. And it's like, oh my God. But that's where we got to meet and then like have a good time. And like, I honestly enjoyed my time there. And then I was like, I just remember being like really nervous though, like throughout the whole casting process and stuff like that. But you're right. It's like, I mean, everybody there, I think our season specifically, I mean, I haven't watched a lot of that show, but I think our season, I just remember being like, man, everybody's really good singer.
Everybody
like,
was really good.
We had a really good group, and from what I heard through the grapevine, which they might have just been saying that, but like I heard that it was like they were really excited about like all of our the people
like
that were there.
season.
Yeah, our season, that they were really good. So.
Well, and I met a girl who was on like the season after us, and she was like, it was so much drama, like scream matches, and I was like,
that's crazy.
Whoa, like we never had anything like that. I mean, there were some people that didn't get along, but it was never like huge drama that I knew of. So I was like, wow, we had a great time. We were hanging out, playing board games.
Yeah, playing board games, just chilling outside. Like
we watched tons of movies. It kind of felt like college, honestly, just because like I don't know, you have so much free time. So you're just hanging out with your friends, staying up way too late, you know. It was just fun.
Were you thinking during this whole process like who you wanted to work with, if you got to work with like a coach, one of the celebrity coaches? Did you have anyone in mind, or were you just kind of like, I don't care?
Well, I always wanted to work with John, and so I was glad that it worked out. It was weird. I don't know if this happened to you, but when I was like, I'm like, you know, breathing, getting ready for my blind audition, and then like right before walking out, I don't remember her name, but she was like, okay, big producer, and she was like, you would be great on John's team. And I was like, okay, good to know. And then I like walked out, and anyways, and I did notice like Thunderstorm said that happened to him, but they told him.
To me too.
Okay, it did. Who did they tell you?
They said it could. They were like, we know you want John because I had said that.
Yeah.
But they were like, we think you should keep an open mind because you maybe think about like someone else, like maybe Kelly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's so interesting. And Thunderstorm.
And I was like right before I went on stage.
Yes,
I'm like,
it's so nerve wracking. You're like, what? I think they do that because then you're like, okay, maybe I'll do what they tell me to do.
Yeah.
But
a little bit of like
you didn't.
Input. No, I didn't.
You picked John.
And then I think I made a mistake. Maybe not that I don't love John. Like I do love John. And like so, me and Zan were on the same team, Team John
fun.
Legend. So we're like, hey, but yeah, maybe I should have picked Kelly because
I don't know. Maybe it would have been different. You can't know.
Yeah.
And I think that they're trying to like allow the show to be organic, but like make, choices and adjustments where they can. Cause I know like Thunderstorm, they told him he would be great on Nick's team and he picked John.
Oh yeah.
And then he ended up on Nick's team at some point.
God, I forgot about
I was
that.
like,
yeah.
Interesting. So you never know. Like I just found that like really interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah. Whoa, that was so weird. So yeah, I do remember that. I remember being like, that was weird to say that, like right before I go on stage.
Yeah.
Also, I went on like the last day and like everything was wrapping up. So I was scared I wasn't going to get a chance to even sing.
It was such a stressful time. Yeah. Such a stressful time.
Oh my gosh. So when you, that's so interesting. I mean, I just can't imagine you like that, like being some of the first time you're like, I'm going to do music. Like what? Like that's crazy. Cause you're like so good. But like, I'm wondering like when you went on stage for your blind audition, you had already worked with like these other vocal coaches and stuff on the show. We all have to like work with these vocal coaches to like perfect our song. But were you like so nervous or were you like calm, cool, and collected?
I was nervous, but I remember, I think to help myself, I like walked out there and I was like, you're better than all this. Not
Good.
that I actually think that, but I just was like trying to not let it all get to me.
Yeah.
So I can definitely hear, like, if you listen to it, like my voice was a little shaky. I didn't like my song that I sang because I didn't feel like it showed off what I could do, all these things. But I was definitely trying to like walk in there like, this doesn't matter. Like,
oh, good. Yeah. I mean, like, I think you kind of have to do something like that.
I was like, that was my biggest fear, was just to be like overtaken by nerves. And so that was my approach. And I think it helped at least a little bit. There was definitely still like nerves happening.
Wonder why it's so nerve wracking. Like I try to analyze like, why is it so scary to do that?
Well,
it's a lot of pressure.
Anybody's scared to be judged.
Right.
Like
for something that you love to do.
You've given like so much time and passion to this like thing. And now you're singing for these like amazing people. And I think everybody, no matter like what like arena of life it's in, like people like to be liked and approved of. And, so you're just like pouring out your little heart, like, do you accept me?
Putting it out,
it's
all
scary.
out there.
It's very scary.
And like, it's kind of scary too, because like you've also made it this far and you've been in this process for a long time and everything's leading up to this moment. It's like, y'all may not know, but it's like weeks of like trying to just prepare for this one moment.
I think it's, well, like even before that, it's like months of like all these different auditions. We were in LA for a month preparing for this audition. And even then they were like sending people home like before they got the opportunity. And like so many people made it through that whole time and then just never got to audition at all.
It's crazy.
Because the spots filled up.
It's
and you're
trauma.
Like,
low key trauma. I mean, and I was on the last day, so I had to see everybody that didn't get the chance to sing just because the teams filled up.
Yeah.
And that was hard because they're sobbing.
Devastating.
And I'm like, no, I would be sobbing too.
Well, my roommate, like, she cried herself to sleep, and I was in the room, like, I can hear the sobs, and I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. I don't want to say anything because I don't want her like to be embarrassed, but I was just laying there, like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But she didn't get to audition.
Yeah, so. I remember that. Man, that was crazy. I mean, like, it's just part of it. But yeah, so you make it on a Team Legend, and then it was like the battle round, which I got cut in the battles. So I got cut way before you, which is heartbreaking to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, was it the second? I thought you made it to the third round.
I made it through the blinds and then I got cut in the battles.
Really? I thought you did the third one. Okay.
No, it was like battles, then knockouts.
Oh.
And then and then I think there's something after that. But
I was so sad. When you got cut.
I mean, I kind of was, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I picked the wrong person because, it may have been differently, but.
Well, and yours was like so hard because like I don't know, you're comparing such like weird different styles of like musicians, and it kind of gets to a point where it's like hard to like, I don't know, like even like Jacob and Allegra, like Jacob's this folk singer and Allegra's like this powerhouse vocalist, and it's like of course she's gonna win, but I think they're both insane in like different regards
For
though.
sure.
So it's like so hard.
Yeah. I mean, but like John, like, you know, I think he still loves me. Like, I think that like we had a really good kind of rapport or whatever.
Yeah.
And like he still will, you know, he stays in touch, you know, which is like awesome. And like he doesn't have to do
nice.
that. And none of the other coaches really do that from what I've heard, but there are people. So love John, you know. I just think that like sweet. I'm kind of upset. And like low-key, I think that he is mad that he did that to me. I don't know. I just think that. I don't know if that's true. But I think he just sees my success. He sees what I'm doing. I'm out here and I'm just...
You're crushing it.
Yeah. And I'm happy to be doing that. But sometimes
if he feels like that, it would be the right feeling.
Yeah. So as you progressed, then it's like right after I got eliminated, it was like they sent us home. They sent everybody home because of COVID. And then y'all had to film with like these cameras that they sent you and stuff, right? Like, or lighting or what? Like, how was that?
Yeah. So that was after the knockouts. We went home and then, yeah, I remember getting the call. It was like the worst day because it was the first day I ever got a migraine. And it probably was from the stress.
Yeah.
Because they had us on like a Zoom call for like 2 hours. And then they're like, you guys aren't coming back. Like this pandemic thing is real and like it's going down. They locked us out of Hollywood studios and we're like, okay, like, yeah, it was just so crazy. But they sent us like lighting and camera and staging and all this stuff. And a lot of the equipment wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Because they just were getting their hands on what they could. And it was kind of hilarious because they'd be like Zooming us. And they'd have like my dad would be holding the camera and my brother would be like doing the lighting and they're like, you know, like shift this light up and to the right. And then my dad's like miking my guitar and it's just really funny. Like they have no idea what they're doing. And then these guys who are like looking, they're kind of like squinting at the screen like, I think that looks good. And I mean, it was just such a crazy time, but I loved that it was like all hands on deck with my family.
Yeah, that's cool.
And even like one of our neighbors like ran up one day to like do the whole like setup for one of my like performances. It's just kind of fun, you know?
That's cool. I mean, that's crazy though. I just remember like when that was going on and I had just gotten eliminated, I think, and then I was like, well, thank God I don't have to do all that. Honestly, I was like, sure, dodged a bullet with that one. But
well, and like it did offer me a chance, I think, to shine in a different way, because like basically after that point, since I was home, like you have like a band you're working with, and so everybody had their tracks being made for them that they like sang along to, and I reached out and I was like, I'd like the opportunity to like make my own. And so like I would pick a song and then we would record all of the instruments. Like we made up the arrangement and everything. And then we sent it and they thought it was so good that they were not going to change it. And then they sent it to John and he was like, he basically made a note that he was really impressed and that like round I got eliminated, but he like used the opportunity to keep me on the show. And he told me it was because of the track I made. So I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
So, and like after that, then he would like listen, he's listened through like all my albums and like my demos and stuff.
That's
and he's been very like, I don't know, consistent, like showing up, like listening to stuff and giving me feedback. And I felt like that kind of gave us like, it was more than just me being a singer. Like he started to respect me as like a musician and artist and stuff. So I was like, okay, COVID sucked, but that was like a cool thing I wouldn't have been able to do had I been in LA.
For sure.
You know, you just would have let the band go. So that was cool.
Wow, that's so amazing. That's awesome. So after that show, after you got eliminated and all that stuff, like then it was like, okay, now what? So what was it like for you after that?
Oh, after that, it was honestly so hard just because COVID was like full-fledged, like lockdown. It was so tough. So it was kind of like nothing, like this huge experience. And then you're just like locked in this room at home, you know. I did like pretty much every time I went out, I did get recognized even with the mask, which was kind of crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was cool. But yeah, there was like a long season of nothing. And then eventually things started to come as they like opened up again. Like I got to do a show with John Legend and with Dave Mathews. And I did like a US tour, and I put out another album that, you know, it's like doing really well online, like 500,000 streams. And, you know, so things like started building. And then I'm like, oh, I'm actually making a living off of this and like paying my band, and have like kind of gone on to do some stuff. Like I just opened up for the Avett Brothers, and so just like some cool things that have like come in waves. I think so many people think that success is just like this big swing up, and I think in reality is like you kind of go through lots of periods of lulls and then like up. And then a lull, and then, you know, up, and it's just kind of stair steps. And sometimes those steps you feel like you've gone back down, but I don't think you really have. So it's been really good, and I love my career, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's been so cool to get to see some of us that were on the show together, like continue to just have like really, really good careers, you know what I mean? And continue to make music and stuff like that, because some people, I think, when you do a show like that, it can get discouraging or something if you get eliminated and then be like, oh my God, I'm awful. It's like, no, there can only be one winner. So, no, but I mean, it's just been awesome to see you thriving. I mean, I think you're like amazing, and I've just been always such a fan. So it's been awesome. What do you think the future of your career, the future of Zan, what does it look like? Do you have like big plans for what's next?
Plans. Yeah, I think so. I have another project that I'm working on. I think I'm kind of like reworking my sound and who I am, because I think I've just slowly been finding who I am through music. And so I'm so excited about my songs right now, and I'm really like just kind of like nose diving into the Americana scene. Like, you know, I've been kind of like a mix of different sounds for a while, and I'm like, you know, just like boom, Americana.
Same, pretty much. I mean, very
similar. So yeah, I'm kind of going for it with that, and I'm hopeful. We'll see. Like, we're hopeful that my recent like show with the Avett Brothers will continue to like a full on tour. But yeah, I mean,
that'd be so cool.
My like dream is honestly like my husband is my audio engineer, and so like my dream is for us to have like a couple babies and us to be like in like a tour van or like some kind of a van, like touring the country, playing shows, and he'll be mixing, and you know,
the
I think it'd be fun.
And,
running across the stage.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so my last question, I ask this of like pretty much every guest that comes on here, because like all the guests that come on this show, no matter what, are like hustlers, like out here, like just working really hard for their dreams and doing different stuff, whether it's like fitness or music or whatever. I've had all kinds of different types of people on here, but I always ask them, like, how do you find, like, okay, for me, it's super important to find a healthy balance between like working hard like that and then trying to find some time to yourself, or you'll get like burnt out. What do you do? What's your routine look like whenever it's like, okay, I need to like have some downtime? What do you do? Like for me, I like to like read a book or like take a bath and like just relax, or take a nap, whatever, go for a run. Like what does that look like for you? What's your respite?
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that's so good, because I definitely am like chronic like worker. Like the brain is always going. So I have to be really intentional. And I've been thinking about this a lot. Like my husband and I have been doing actually like a day a week where we just like completely unplug. And I find that it's really like, it's very similar idea to like grounding, where you're just like taking in your surroundings. But I love to have a day a week where I'm just like, the phone has been put away and I'm not worrying about what I need to do, what I want to do. Even like I want to buy clothes and decorate the house. And, you know, I really just try to shut my mind off from worry and just like have a day of like enjoyment. And so we'll go on walks and I'll read and I'll sleep, and like we just like take in the beauty of our home and the world around us and just try to like have a day of like enjoyment. And, you know, and I try and like fit that into my daily life too, of like really like, I think you would probably call it grounding, of just like, okay, where am I? Like, oh wow, that like lamp is such a beautiful shade of green,
Right.
you know, just like the joy of like, you know, your surroundings, and it kind of, it just kind of like pulls you out of like your worries for a moment and brings you into like the present. And like, I think there's such a beauty in just like being thankful for where you are and what you're experiencing. So
love that.
Yeah.
It's important, right? That
It
balance.
is.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Zan, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah,
I
thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And I love you. And I loved hearing your story. I'm so glad we got to talk about that, because I don't think we've ever really talked about that before, but it's very interesting. So thank you so much. For all of you at home listening to this, if you want to check out Zan, can you give us your like social medias and where we can find you on Spotify and all that stuff?
Yeah, everything is just Zan Fiskum, zanfiskum.com, Instagram, Facebook, and that's ZANFISKUM.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all can follow me at Zach. Everything's at Zach. And then be sure to check out Kenect Phoenix and Kenect Nashville. Thank you, Kenect, so much for allowing me to do this and just have these conversations and just providing me a space to just chat. I love to talk, so this is awesome for me. And I really appreciate it. So from all of us here at Kenect, see you next time. Bye.